Good morning, A2 students. So I have a bow on because it's under the tree today, so I'm a present. So today we're starting our second unit, and we're taking a huge turn here. We've been doing algebra for like ever, and I think we're going to take a turn and do some geometry. So notes for 2-1 talks about basic geometry vocab. The sooner you memorize these things, the better life will be in geometry. So first one is a point. A point is an exact location in space, and it is always labeled with capital letters. So you guys are familiar with the points that are x comma y's for the coordinates. That is still a point. And we're also talking about the points here like on this diagram. Like that's point A. Point A. Point G would be another example. Notice how they're all labeled with capital letters. A segment has two endpoints, is straight, and is made up of points. And it has a definite length, meaning that you could measure it, meaning that you could determine the length of it. The notation for a segment is the endpoints, so A and B, if those are the endpoints, and then a line over the top. So right here, I'm going to highlight this in yellow. When they're talking about line segment AB, that is this line from point A to that other endpoint B. That's line segment AB. Another example that I'll do in green would be, let's go line segment HE. So line segment HE is going to be from endpoint H all the way to that endpoint E. I'm just going to make those points a little bit more definite with the green. Point H, point E. So if it has a line over the top, that just means line segment. The distance between 2 points is always labeled with AB with no line over the top. So if I just say, the line segment AB is 15 centimeters, it wouldn't have the line over the top. Not a huge thing to worry about. And then the next definition we're going to talk about is a line. A line has no endpoints whatsoever. This is familiar because you guys have done this before. These are our linear equations from our previous units, from that algebra stuff, that y equals mx plus b. So it has no endpoints. It is straight because all lines are straight. It's made up of an infinite number of points, right? There's that infinite number of points that you can plot along that line. And it goes on forever in both directions. Just like every single line that you graph should have those arrows at the end, it goes on for either direction. So again, the difference between a line and a line segment, a segment has two endpoints. It has a definite length that you could measure. And a line has no endpoints. So I'm just going to stress that. No endpoints. And it goes on forever in both directions. It's an infinite length. It has those arrows at the end. The notation for a line is very similar to that for a line segment. It just has the arrows going on either end because that's showing that it's the line going on in both directions. So here in the second graph, line AB, notice it's got the arrows in both directions. And that means where A and B are any points on the line. So there's my point A, there's my point B. So the line AB that they're talking about is this line right here. Notice how I didn't stop at A and I didn't stop at B. I continued it all the way through those arrows because the arrows are part of that when we're talking about the line. This line is also the same. Another name for this same highlighted line could be line AC. C is also another point on that line. So that would be talking about the same line. Is the same line as AB, which is also the same as, I could call it, instead of AC, I could even call it HD. So then is when it makes sense anymore are the same. Because again, they're saying that A and B are any points on the line. So any points on this line, A, H, D, C, B, I could use to name that line. Next up, we have array. Array has one endpoint. It is straight and is made up of points. So actually, I'm going to go back for a second here. So a point, as we talked about, is just that point in space, an exact location in space. A segment has two endpoints. So something like swoop, swoop. The line goes on forever in both directions. We know what those lines look like. And so array has one endpoint, is straight, made up of other points, and goes on forever in one direction. So array is like a segment and a line put together. It's like half and half. The notation for array, how we write arrays, that notation is basically what array looks like. Instead of arrows going in both directions like the line, it just has an arrow going in one direction. So when it has an arrow over the top of it like that, that says array AB. I'm going to highlight that in green on this picture. So array AB would be where A is my endpoint and B is any other point that passes through. So notice my highlightings overlap, meaning that line AB is made up of ray AB. The ray is part of the line, right? The only difference is that the ray stops at that endpoint A and the line keeps going. Another example of array could be ray, let's go EF. And I'll highlight that one in the pink. So ray EF, starting at that endpoint E and going to F. Boom. It's important that the endpoint is your starting point. That's the letter that comes first. So again, this is array. All right, moving on. An angle. An angle is the opening between two things, between two rays, between two segments, between two lines. It's just the opening, that opening space between two things. This angle notation we're going to use a lot. So right here, I'm going to get a different color again. Let's go blue. So this right here says angle ABC. It kind of is like the less than sign, but we know that because it's it doesn't have a number near it, that it's talking about an angle. And also we're in geometry, so we're assuming that it's an angle. So angle ABC is talking about the angle. So ABC would be Oh yeah, because it's yellow and green. Ooh, let's get a different color. Purple. Nasty. Problem solve. Orange will be ugly. So angle, let's use red pen. There we go. So angle ABC is right here. A, where's B? B, that doesn't work. That's not an angle. Womp, womp, womp. Okay, so we gotta fix that. So instead, let's do angle, instead of ABC, let's change this to say angle AHG. So angle AHG, here we go, is talking about the angle, I'm going to highlight this in red, AHG. Angle AHG. And again, an angle looks something like this. And last but not least, the last little thing is when the angle has a little m in front of it, that m stands for the measurement. So this notation right here is read the measurement of angle ABC. So you might see something like measurement of angle ABC is equal to 68 degrees. That's just saying that the measure of angle ABC is 68 degrees. So that's all the vocab that we're going to start with for today. It does seem like a lot, I know, but most of it is common sense, I think. So just keep that stuff in mind, look stuff up, and the biggest thing is the notation. You're going to want to be on board with the notation.